Well, hello. We are moving on from Greek theater, the chapter, to Greek theater, a play, Oedipus the King, by famous playwright Sophocles. Oedipus the King is one of the most well-known, most studied plays, certainly Greek plays, tragedies in the world, and has been for a long time. Aristotle wrote about it when we were doing the play experience, chapter 4. Uh, he used Oedipus the king, also called Oedipus Rex, as his example of the ideal tragedy and how he kind of constructed what a tragedy ought to be. But we're looking at it more than, we're not really analyzing it as a tragedy so much. We could study it as literature. We could study Oedipus as the tragic hero. There's a lot of ways. There's so many ways. Sigmund Freud, and a famous psychologist, used Oedipus as a basis for his psychological behavioral theory about why people do what they do. So this is known and out there for many, many things. What we're going to do is there is a performance view check honor system here on did you watch all of it? Did you watch any of it? Did you watch some of it? Instead of a quiz, um, I'm not really interested in you just answering questions about who did what, but there is a pretty well-developed, discussion, and it is about this particular performance. So let's just take a quick look. All right, you will like this production more than the Trifles production. Much more going on. There's movement. It's well lit. It's beautifully staged. You can hear very well, and it is it's outdoors. But like you saw in chapter 13, that's the way the Greeks did their theater. It was all outdoors. Matter of fact, that's the way all theater was done for many, many, many years until they had electricity. So hundreds and hundreds of years. You're going to find it helpful to maybe read a little bit of the script. So I wanted to look at that with you. Okay, but this is the Apollo Arts production is the one that your discussion is supposed to be about. This is the one to watch. Here is a copy of the script. Now, it was written in Greek, so it had to be translated, right? It had to be translated. You have your translators there. You can also download it. There's a little text box up there to click a file. You have your list of characters. Many more. This is a full-length play. There's several acts, several scenes, much, much longer than Trifles, but this is more typical of a full-length play. You've got your stage directions. You will want to read these and see how they compare to what you see on the on the performance. So please read over this or have this handy as you watch. We're previewing now. Then you begin a prologue. So we really don't even have scene one yet. And the king, Oedipus, is coming out to address his people and saying, tell me what's wrong. You've come here. You made an appeal to speak to me. So, you've strewn yourselves before these altars in supplication, which means you're asking for something, and burning incense, and you're praying, and I hear you. What's going on? And then the priest comes and speaks for the people and talks about this terrible plague. Look down at line 25 to line 30. Your own eyes should be able to tell you how bad shape Thebes is, the city. A rust or a mold consumes the buds and fruits of the earth. The herds, the cows, the sheep, the whatever, are sick. The children die unborn. So they're having a everybody, not just a few people. Labor is vain. The god of plague and pyre, which is the funeral fire, raids like detestable lightning through the city. So they're saying, come to you. You're a leader. You saved us before. Line around between 35 and 40. We know you're not one of the immortal gods, but you saved us from that monster, the Sphinx. And so, seems like you got it. You have some special powers. We need you to use them right now. And of course, we think about when our country and the world went through COVID and it was a bit of a plague of sort, how bad it would be. We were all scared. We were all worried. We looked to our leaders. Well, what should we do? Should we stay home? Should we wear masks? Should we get a vaccine? What should we do? And so that's not far off, but that's not what this play is really about. It is about bigger issues that are more universal than going through a plague. This is about, and I'm scrolling down to show you something else here, is about the universal question that all mankind has. Is like, who decides what happens? Is it fate? Is some, doesn't matter what I do, I'm going to end up fulfilling my destiny or my fate. I can't avoid it. Or do I have this, all my choices are going to lead me to my destiny and I will be who I choose to be? Am I truly self-made? Do I really get to determine myself determining in everything, or am I kind of a victim of things that I can't control? And so we have, even today, we have a very self-determined type of mentality in America. We believe that we can do anything if we try hard enough. Certainly, we have a lot more options than people have had in the past, and um, still maybe limited in around the world, right? Your occupation is not predetermined. Your social class is not predetermined, which it is in other places in the world and has been in our history. But besides that, okay, that's what this play deals with, and that's why it's still performed today and people still study it. We still have the same questions going on. Here's the chorus. The chorus is that group of people, in original ancient Greece, it was just men, doing all this, and they sing. They sing the prayer of the people in this part. They sing, you know, about their plight. They kind of talk about what's going on that's not being acted out, sort of going on along the way. And he responds to that when he comes back. Is this your prayer? It might be answered. I'm going to fix it. Come listen to me. I'm going to do what needs to be done, and you will have relief from all these evils. And he says, but I am going to figure it out, because he learns that it's tied to whoever murdered their previous king. And so, this is how it's laid out. But I want you to watch it. Let me go back to the model. Give you a second to catch up there. You have a play performance view check instead of a quiz. So I just need you to be honest about, did you watch all of it? Did you watch most of it? You need to watch a good portion of it just to be able to engage in the discussion. But I would really, to fully have the answers, you do need to watch it to the end. And you can always say you've watched Oedipus the King, which is pretty impressive. So some of those questions, you're answering all of these. Since we're not having a quiz, it's choose all of them. And then make sure you reply to at least 2 classmates, not just one. And if you want the most points, you need to post and reply on different days. Okay? And then remember that I'm not looking for one-word answers. I need several sentences in length. So the murderer, this is another, I didn't mean it to be this way, murder mystery, because that's really not the theme or point of this play any more than who murdered John Wright. Whether it was Mrs. Wright or not is really not the point of the play of Trifles, right? It's something else. There's a different idea. So there are clues, and by the end, everybody has it figured out, but you might have figured it out before the end. And so when did you discover? Like, was it the end when they proclaimed it? It's okay. Did you figure it out earlier? If so, what was the clue that gave it away to you? So you got to kind of pay attention to that, see if you can figure it out. In what ways, this is important, was this specific performance classic, like ancient Greek theater, and in other ways, what made it more contemporary or modern? So I need to hear from you on both of those. And I'm looking for the application of those chapter 13 information you had last week. Number 3, what surprised you the most about the play? That's pretty open-ended, but it does anticipate that things might be different than you expected. Surprised you could be how it ended, could be the mystery, how it was solved. It could be the way they produced things, different from what you were expecting based on chapter 13. Now I'm going to put you in a hypothetical director role. And if you were going to cast the 3 main characters, who would you choose to portray Oedipus? Who would you choose to portray Jocasta? Who would you choose to portray Creon? And explain why. Don't just give me a name. If you put Russell Crowe for one, why him? What does he bring Why do you think that's a good choice for whichever of these? But make sure you explain why. And then pose a question to your classmates about this particular play performance. Again, no quiz this week, so I'm really looking for you to put it all into this discussion, and you really do need to watch the play performance. I think that more than trifles, you'll enjoy it. It'll be a different experience for you.